Hey there, happy Sunday. I was almost about to say Saturday. Happy Sunday. I've got a message on my heart and I wanted to share with you a little bit about kind of what's been happening lately. And just a little warning, this may be a bit long. This may be a bit long, and it also may trigger some people because we're going to talk about dieting. We're going to talk about weight and trauma and all of those things. So just know that going into it before you watch. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Lori Marie. I've been on a healing journey for the last 9.5 years. And part of that has included my relationship with my body. Prior to healing, I was at a place where I was really hating myself, hating my body. When I was 23, I experienced sexual trauma in my home, didn't deal with it so great, and over the course of a year, I gained 100 pounds. Now, dieting for me goes way back. I mean, I remember from the time I was like 11 or 12, I started dieting, and I'm now 44. So it's been like 33 years, like 3 decades, which is so sad to me. But that's what it is, right? And it's sad to me because we're taught from such a young age that we're not enough, that we're not good enough. We should look better. We should be lighter. We should be skinnier. We should be prettier, etc., etc. And it's all marketing. It's all marketing to our insecurities and to our weaknesses and to, things that weren't even there. Like for some people, like those things weren't even there until somebody pointed them out that there's something wrong with you, right? And so for me, that started at a very young age. Like I said, I started dieting by the time I was like 11, and I was on so many different things, so many different diets. I was on Weight Watchers. I was on fen and Redux, like I was taking diet pills at like 14, 15. And it was ridiculous because I was never really overweight until I experienced sexual trauma, and then I gained 100 pounds. And then after that experience, I went on for the next 13 years or so, just hating myself and hating my body, but also feeling like I couldn't say anything. I couldn't do anything. I shouldn't do anything because I don't want to take up the therapist time. I don't want to take, oh, that happened so long ago. Like, oh, other people have it worse, right? There was like so many things I told myself. And then I don't know, like once I started healing my past experiences, my trauma, I started naturally not being interested in things that I once used to cope, right? I had new tools, new skills, which is why healing is so important and also valuable, because you have new ways of dealing with things, dealing with your emotions. And emotions is something I didn't want to deal with. I shoved them down for years and years and decades. I shoved my emotions down until I would burst, like I couldn't literally hold it in anymore. But I learned through healing and through the work that I've done over the last 9.5 years that feeling is good, and that it's good to release, and it's good to let go, and it's good to cry. And I cry all the time now. And it's great because I know that that feeling will move past me a lot faster when I do. So through this journey, though, of healing myself and healing my body and learning to have a new relationship with my body, I've really come to a place of acceptance too, right? Like along this journey, I've come to actually really appreciate my body and what she does for me. And I actually feel, deep compassion for the part of me who, treated her so poorly, But then there came a time where, especially recently, where I was looking and I was like, I just don't feel in alignment though with who I know I am, right? Like I accept myself, I love myself, I'm at a place where I'm like good with who I am. And that's tremendous. Like if you would ask me 10 years ago if I would have gotten here, I would have I just couldn't imagine it, right? But now I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, now it's not just about being skinny. Now it's not at a point of just being skinny. Now it's at a point where I want to be a healthy 60-year-old, 70-year-old, 80-year-old. I want to be one of those like saucy like grandmas, right? Or saucy just like older women who's just like super like kick-ass and can do anything a 20-year-old could, you know? Like I just want to be healthy and fit. And so then I sat with that and I was like, okay, but what do I do? Right? Because I tried so many diets. I tried so many things. I was on, I did keto and I did all the things. Like I did them all. Like I can't think of one that I haven't tried. Shakes, dieting, juicing, fasting, all of it, right? And none of that felt right. None of it felt good. And then I started intuitive eating. And again, through this healing process, I stopped eating. I'm essentially like pescatarian now. Like I only eat fish and eggs and fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, things like that, and grain. I still was avoiding carbs, right? Because I was like, ooh, carbs are bad because that's what we're told. And so I just felt really lost and confused with all of it because there's so much out there telling you what to do and how to do it. And this is what you should do and blah, 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 right? It's just like, I got to a point where I just gave up because I was like, I don't know how to do this. Like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know what to do. And I don't know what's the right thing. And about when I was in LA, I was doing, it was kind of a form of keto, I guess you could say. It was like Code Red. And I did start losing weight, but it just like, I got bored of it. And it was just like, this just doesn't feel sustainable, right? And so I just started just eating intuitively, eating what I wanted. And I don't eat crap anymore, right? Like I used to eat crap all the time and I used to binge eat and just really unhealthy processed foods and stuff like that. So I've really cleaned all that up. And that's made a huge difference in my life, just like how I feel, how my skin looks, just like all of that, right? Like that's been amazing. And then I don't know, I didn't feel in alignment with like eating meat anymore. It was kind of a natural progression as far as that went. But I was still looking for what is that thing that will help me become that fit person I feel like I'm meant to be. How can I become fit and healthy and do something that's really sustainable, that's really like fits into my life, right? And so the other night, it was so funny. I don't know why. Like, recently, Tony and I have been on a kick of watching like old cheesy like horror films from like the 80s and 90s. And we decided to, I don't know, I felt like I wanted to, he had never seen Stephen King's, is it Stephen King? Steven Spielberg. Stephen King. Stephen King. Too many Stevens in the movie world. No. Stephen King's movie, Thinner. And the funny thing about that movie, there was something to it. I felt like watching it, right? So I was following my intuition and I was like, Tony, you've never seen this. We should watch Thinner, right? It's a good Stephen King movie. And in this movie, right, the guy, like, I mean, he's cursed, so there's that. But if you haven't seen the movie, basically this man accidentally kills these gypsies, like this old gypsy's daughter. And he's like a lawyer, so he gets all of his like lawyer friends and the judge to like let him off. And then, he just basically gets away with murder. And so the gypsy finds him and he curses him and he just says one word. He walks up to him and he like rubs his thumb along his finger and he says, thinner, right? And, oh, by the way, this lawyer is like really overweight. And so over the course of like just days and weeks, he starts like losing weight really fast and he's like eating and eating and eating. And it's really gross. like seeing him eat the way he eats. But it did occur to me, I was like, maybe I need to eat more. And then funny enough, I happened to come across, I had bought a program by Tony Robbins back in February. And I remember I've heard about Dr. G for a while. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, so I'm just going to call him Dr. G. It's called the GPlan. But I started looking into it the next day because I was like, I just had this feeling like, what if it's not because I'm eating too much, but I'm actually not eating enough? And so, I don't know, after watching Thinner the next day, I checked out Dr. G's work and like what the plan's about. And it really is in alignment with what I already eat, but it's a lot more of what I eat. And so I started it last Sunday. And it's really funny because I weighed myself today and I'm actually down 4.5 pounds. So I think there's something to this. I think for so long I've been really starving my body and starving myself. And so I feel like just intuitively I'm feeling like maybe the reason I've held on to this weight for so long is because 1, I didn't know what to do. 2, whatever I was doing was like actually starving me versus feeding me and nourishing me. And so, I don't know. I think there's something to this. And so I'm going to stick with it for a while. And I feel great and I feel like I have a lot of energy, and the food I'm eating is all stuff I was already eating before. So I figure like, can't hurt. Oh, and another huge difference I'm finding is I'm actually drinking way more water too. So on this particular plan, they recommend drinking half your body weight in water, which I think is pretty standard to what people say. And then I eat really healthy, and I loved that on the app I could pick the way that I eat, right? Because I eat like pescatarian, which is kind of like vegetarian, but I eat fish and eggs still. And so like it's got all these awesome recipes and stuff, and so we've been trying all kinds of new recipes, and I'm eating like 3 meals a day plus snacks in between, and drinking like half my body weight in water. And the app has made it really easy for me to follow. And so I'm going to be just sharing my journey with you along the way. Of course, I've been moving as well, right? I started doing Couch to 5K, which I'm not a huge runner, but I do like that app because it makes it easier for me to do, because it's short bursts, right? And then I also am doing some yoga and Pilates. I'm just doing things I enjoy doing. And so I'm really interested to see if this is the key for me. I'm not telling you this to tell you that you should do this or that anybody else should do this. This is just what feels right now for me. And I really want this to be a must, right? Not from a place of like, oh, I hate my body and like I need to be skinny, but from a place of like, no, I really love my body and I love myself and I want to be a really vibrant, energized, toned, and like kick-ass 60-year-old and 80-year-old. And, I don't want to be, I just don't want to be unhealthy, like in my old age, And so, I'm going to share the journey with you and we'll see how it goes. But the recipes are really good. I'm really enjoying that. And I love food and I love cooking. So, it's been fun for me to explore these new ways, especially because, I feel like throughout my life, there's been times where I've wanted to try becoming like vegan or vegetarian, but I always felt so lost in that world. Like, what do I eat and how do I do it? And it sounds really hard and I don't know these recipes and blah, right? Like, but this is making it really easy to explore more of that world and what that might look like. And really, there's a lot of really simple things. And so it's super fun. It's been really fun for me to try it and to explore. I still have a little part of me that feels a little skeptical because I'm like, will this really work? Can this really work? Just because I've done so many things and been on so many plans and so many diets. But this isn't really a diet. It's more like a lifestyle, which is what I was looking for. It's a way of life, and it's the way I already eat. It's just I'm eating a lot more of it, which is also interesting. And that funny thing too that I've noticed is just in this last week is like, I also feel a lot hotter, which is really interesting because a lot of times I was always cold. It's almost like the sense I get like within me is like my heater's working, right? My oven's burning. And so that's been really interesting to notice too. I definitely had some skepticism going into it just because it's been such a long journey and process. But I really love the support they give, and I love the app, and I love just how easy they make it to follow. So I'm going to stick it out, and, that's what I'm committed to. And so part of me sharing this is to hold myself accountable and to also, if it inspires anybody else or helps support anybody else in any way, just know that it's never too late, and know that it's really about choosing what feels right to you, and right for your body and nobody else. Here's the other piece that I know, like, so many people try and say like, oh, do this or do that, or you should. I've heard that so much over the years. I've heard people tell me what I should do, right? Like, oh, just, eat right and move your body or exercise or whatever, right? Or just do this or do that. This is what works for me. And it's like, that's great. It works for you, but I have a completely different body than you. My makeup, my chemistry, my hormones, my everything is different than you, right? Like, so when people give you advice or tell you what to do just because it worked for them, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you, because you have a completely different body, a completely different body shape, a completely different makeup, you may have sensitivities that I don't. You may have different hormones happening at this time than I do. Like, there's so many things that go into it. And so I think where it's really important is just listening and following what feels good to you, right? Like, I know this process is going to take a while. It took a year to come on. It's not going to come off in a day or a night. And, I really want to celebrate the fact that, I'm down like 4.5 pounds, because I used to, in the past when I've lost weight, I would look at that and I'd be like, ugh, only 4 pounds, only 2 pounds, only half a pound, only blah, blah, right? And I would obsess about the number. But it's not even about the number. It's just how I'm noticing, like, how I'm feeling. Like, I'm feeling more energized. I'm feeling more aliveness within myself. I'm feeling just good. And that's what I want to focus on. It's not really about the number, because you can weigh, 140 pounds, 150 pounds, 200 pounds and be super fit, right? And super healthy and super strong. Or you could be the same weight and, you don't have any muscle mass, or, and your body's made up of, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, the number doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the number doesn't matter. It's about how you feel. And for me, I want to feel fit. I want to feel toned. I want to feel healthy. I want to feel vibrant. I want to feel like I can go do and keep up with anyone doing anything, right? So for me, that's what it's about. It's like, I want to be able to keep doing life and keep traveling and keep doing amazing things, like, well into my hundreds, because I'm going to live to 100. I have a family history of people living in their hundreds. So, but I want to be mobile, right? I don't want to be like, I just want to be mobile, and I want to be alive and well, and still doing what I love, and spending time with people I love. And, I never want to be bound to my home because I can't move from my home. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's exciting to be here. It's exciting to feel like it's possible, because for many, many years, maybe even more, I felt like it was never going to happen. And some of that was because I just hadn't committed yet. And so I'm committed. And so I'm going to take you along on the journey if you want to come along. So we'll see what happens. But I'm excited to do this. I'm excited to share, and I'll share some of the little bra slippage there. I'm excited to share what I'm doing, what I'm making, show you how easy it is to eat healthy. Tony and I just got back from shopping, and there's a lot of ways to eat healthy that don't have to break the bank. And actually, another thing I've noticed on this program, which is really interesting, because I make food for him too, we're barely it's funny, like for the amount of food we're eating, we're not using like a lot of the ingredients that we buy, if that makes sense. It's like, because they're portioned to a certain size and a certain amount, it's like we have so much more food, and so we're not wasting food, which is really interesting too. So I don't know, we'll see. But I'm excited to share this journey with you, and to just share kind of what's coming up for me along the way, and hope it brings you some inspiration and some love. Because one of the things that I've really come to understand is, if you want a deep connection with your intuition, if you want to be able to really listen to your intuition, understand your intuition, see where it's guiding you, see where you're being led, you must have a relationship with yourself and with your body. It's so important. If I didn't have the relationship I do with myself, I would not be able to support people the way I do. Because when I think back to my 20s and 30s, like early 30s, I was so disconnected from my body. I didn't want anything to do with my body, right? And so I was always out of my body. And so I didn't understand what was happening or how to use my gifts in the way that I do now. But I do what I do now, and I can do, the reason I can connect to loved ones who have passed, the reason I can connect to intuition, the reason I can support people and get to the root of a problem like that, is because I have done my own healing work, and I have a deep understanding and relationship with myself and with my body. And so I can feel everything. I feel everything, and that is what my feeling body, being in my body and feeling my body, is what helps me connect and understand the messages that are coming through. So without the relationship that I've developed with my body, I would not be able to support people in the way that I do. So if you want to develop your intuition, you want to connect on a deeper level to that part of yourself, you must have a relationship with your body. So do what you can, one step at a time, to heal that part. If you don't like your body, start working on it. If you don't like being in your body, it's time to start working on it. It will do, your body is so amazing. It has so much wisdom for you. So much wisdom for you. All the answers you're looking for all the questions that you seek, your body has the answers for. So that's that. Thank you for being here. I'm sending you so much love. Happy Sunday. Mwah.